Ladies and gentlemen, hear me when I say this. There are moments in your life when God doesn't give you an audience. He gives you an instruction. And that instruction isn't always loud. It isn't always glamorous. And it doesn't always come with applause. Sometimes God looks at you and says, focus on yourself and stay silent. Not because you're weak, not because you're forgotten, but because he's preparing you for a level your critics can't comprehend and your haters can't handle. Somebody shout, I receive that. When God says focus on yourself, he's reminding you that your future is not built in public. Your future is built in the quiet, disciplined, consistent moments when nobody is watching. See, people want to shine on the stage before they're shaped in the shadows. They want elevation without preparation, reputation without transformation, celebration without dedication. But God says, I can't put you in the spotlight until I can trust you in silence. That silence is not punishment. It's the womb of your next season. It's where your character grows, your mindset strengthens, your faith deepens. And let me tell you something. What God grows in private, no enemy can kill in public. When God leads you into a silent season, it's not because he's trying to weaken you. It's because he's training you to recognize the power he placed inside you. There is something extraordinary about the moments where heaven seems quiet and the world seems distant. That's where you meet the deepest parts of yourself. That's where you discover strength you didn't know you had, clarity you didn't realize you needed, and identity you didn't know was waiting to rise. People often fear the silence, but silence is not empty. Silence is full of revelation, full of refinement, full of the raw materials that build champions. The problem is that most people want to be seen before they've been strengthened, and they want to be celebrated before they've been solidified. But God is not the author of premature exposure. He is the architect of strategic development. And he knows that what he placed inside you requires a season of quiet so it can grow roots strong enough to support the weight of your purpose. There is a hook I want you to grab right here. Your silent season is not God ignoring you. It's God investing in you. Every moment you spend in solitude is a moment heaven uses to separate you from noise, from opinions, from distractions that dilute your destiny. Silence forces you to deal with yourself, your flaws, your fears, your habits, your patterns. You can hide from people, but you can't hide from God in silence. And because he loves you, he uses that silence as a mirror to show you who you are and as a hammer to shape you into who you're meant to become. In the silence, your excuses lose their volume. Your doubts lose their authority. Your limitations lose their grip. When you are alone with God and alone with your assignment, you start to understand that your power is not in what you say. It's in what you're becoming. A lot of people misinterpret silence as stagnation. They think if nothing looks loud, nothing is happening. But the greatest transformations happen underground. Seeds grow quietly, roots expand silently, muscles strengthen in the unseen, and destinies form in the depths. You are not stuck. You are being strengthened. You are not delayed. You are being developed. You are not forgotten. You are being fortified. Don't mistake hidden seasons for hopeless seasons. The silence is proof that you've entered the workshop of God, where he chisels, purifies, and amplifies everything he planted in you. He is not trying to make you comfortable. He is trying to make you capable. Here's another hook for you. God does his greatest work in you before he ever does his greatest work through you. That means before he elevates you, he strengthens you. Before he displays you, he develops you. Before he promotes you, he prepares you. and that preparation is never loud. It never comes with applause. It rarely comes with confirmation from the people around you. In fact, sometimes God isolates you from people so you'll finally hear him clearly. He pulls you away from the voices that confuse your calling and the opinions that weaken your confidence. He separates you not to punish you, but to position you for greater influence, greater capacity, and greater assignment. When you understand this, you stop fighting the silence and start embracing it. You start using the quiet to master your mind, sharpen your discipline, strengthen your spirit, and elevate your habits. The silence trains you. It teaches you how to stand when things get heavy, how to believe when evidence seems absent, how to stay consistent when no one is clapping, how to trust God when nothing makes sense yet. It's in the silence that your spiritual muscles grow, your emotional resilience develops, and your mental maturity awakens. The silence doesn't make you smaller. It makes you stronger. And when God finally ends that season and reveals you, people won't recognize the version of you that steps out, because that version wasn't built in the spotlight. It was built in the silence, strengthened by God himself. Focus is one of the most powerful spiritual advantages God gives you, but most people never learn how to use it because they're too busy scattering their energy instead of concentrating it. When God says to focus on yourself, he's not telling you to be selfish. He's telling you to be strategic. He's telling you to stop pouring into places that drain you, stop investing in people who distract you, and stop participating in environments that pull you away from who you're becoming. Focus is the funnel that takes all the noise of your life and turns it into clarity. It's the fire that sharpens your identity. It's the filter that removes everything that is irrelevant to your destiny. And if you ever truly learn how to focus, you'll outperform people who have more talent, more resources, and more opportunities, because focus turns ordinary intention into extraordinary impact. Most people live their lives like a broken flashlight, light going everywhere, but power hitting nowhere. But when you focus your energy, you become a laser, small in appearance, unstoppable in effect. Focus creates force. And when God puts you in a season where he tells you to focus on yourself, that is his way of saying, I'm about to increase your capacity, but I need your attention first. You cannot grow while being distracted. You cannot elevate while being scattered. You cannot transform while being divided. Focus is the bridge between the version of you that talks about change and the version of you that actually creates it. When you focus, you accelerate. When you focus, you separate from the average. And when you focus, you activate levels of potential that you didn't even know were waiting inside you. Let me give you a hook right here. Your next level doesn't require more effort. It requires more focus. People think success is about doing more, but true success is about doing less with greater intensity. It's about eliminating the unnecessary so the necessary can breathe. It's about saying no to distraction so you can say yes to destiny. Every time you focus, you remove something that doesn't belong in your future. Every time you focus, you silence a voice that was slowing down your progress. Every time you focus, you tell heaven that you're ready for more. God doesn't elevate scattered people, he elevates disciplined ones. He elevates those who can take their energy and aim it like a weapon toward the goal he placed in their spirit. Focus is also spiritual obedience. When God tells you to focus on yourself, he's giving you permission to stop carrying responsibilities that aren't yours. He's giving you the authority to withdraw from drama you didn't create. He's giving you the freedom to detach from expectations that don't align with your purpose. Sometimes focusing on yourself means disappointing people who wanted you to stay the same. But growth requires separation, and focus requires boundaries. You cannot stay accessible to everything and still be available for what God is building in you. You have to choose. You have to decide that your destiny is more important than the distractions that keep calling your name. Another hook for you: if the enemy can't destroy you, he will distract you. Distraction is the deadliest form of delay because it looks harmless but costs you everything. It steals your time, your energy, your creativity, your momentum. That's why God whispers, focus. Because he knows that once you lock in on your purpose, everything that tries to pull you backward loses its grip. Focus starves your fears and feeds your faith. Focus silences your insecurity and strengthens your identity. Focus breaks the cycles that kept you repeating the same story and empowers you to write a new chapter. And when you master the art of focus, something powerful happens. You begin to rise quietly, consistently, unstoppably. You start to feel the alignment. You start to see the progress. You start to embody the version of you that God always intended. Not because you did more, but because you finally directed your energy toward what mattered most. Focus becomes your spiritual advantage, your personal accelerator, your divine multiplier. And once you taste the power of true focus, you'll never let distraction rent space in your life again. Building in private creates a kind of power that the world cannot imitate or diminish. Most people chase validation, applause, and recognition, but God rewards preparation before promotion, and he honors the work done behind the scenes more than the noise made in public. When you build in private, you are free to make mistakes, learn lessons, and grow without the pressure of spectators. The absence of eyes watching is not emptiness. It is opportunity. It's a laboratory for your mind, a gym for your discipline, and a sanctuary for your faith. Every minute you spend quietly developing your skills, habits, and character multiplies in ways that no one else can see but God. The world will only see the result, and when it comes, it will be undeniable. Here's a hook for you. What you grow in secret becomes unstoppable when revealed in public. Private work allows you to focus on the quality of your growth instead of the quantity of your recognition. Too many people fall into the trap of measuring success by likes, shares, or applause. They confuse visibility with progress, but progress is never measured by popularity. It's measured by growth, consistency, and mastery. While others are busy talking about what they want to do, God is blessing the preparation of those who do it quietly. Your private effort is the invisible weight that strengthens your ability to carry the visible blessing. Every hour spent in silence, every sacrifice made when nobody is watching, and every moment of persistence when it feels pointless is an investment in a future that will astonish the unprepared. Here's another hook: the world doesn't get to know your process because the process protects your promise. When you overshare, you expose your weaknesses, invite criticism, and risk premature judgment. But when you build in private, your results speak for themselves. Your success doesn't need explanation. It commands respect. People will question, doubt, and even try to discourage you, but the quiet work you do shields your destiny from interference. It teaches patience, endurance, and humility. The longer you commit to private development, the stronger you become to handle the magnitude of what God is preparing for you. Private work also builds confidence that is unshakable. Confidence based on approval from others is fragile. It collapses at the first sign of disagreement or disapproval. But confidence built in private is grounded in your own preparation and effort. It doesn't need validation because you know what you've invested, what you've sacrificed, and what you've mastered. People will be shocked by your results because they didn't see the hours, the sweat, the mental battles, and the spiritual alignment required to reach that level. This is the power of private work. It makes your public performance impossible to ignore because it is rooted in effort, faith, and consistency that cannot be faked. Here's another hook. Private work is the engine that powers public impact. When you are building in private, you are strengthening your vision, clarifying your purpose, and sharpening your skills without distraction. It allows you to experiment, adjust, and refine without fear of judgment. This is where true mastery is born. And when God opens the doors for public recognition, you step in with results that can't be disputed because they are grounded in diligence, preparation, and integrity. People may see the success, but they will never see the full magnitude of the preparation that made it inevitable. Finally, building in private cultivates resilience. Life will challenge you, critics will question you, and circumstances will tempt you to quit. But the habits, mindset, and spiritual strength developed in private make you resistant to pressure. You have already trained in silence, endured without applause, and persevered without reward. This resilience becomes your shield when the storm hits and your wings when opportunity calls. Private work doesn't just create success, it creates character, and character sustains success. The power of building in private is that it prepares you not only to achieve, but to thrive, endure, and leave a legacy that is unstoppable and undeniable. Not everyone deserves access to your process, your journey, or your vision. Some people are meant to witness your transformation, not walk through it with you. God places certain people around you to support, encourage, and love you, but He also separates you from those who will distract, discourage, or derail your destiny. Learning to protect your peace is a spiritual skill, and learning who gets access to your inner circle is a leadership principle. Every great leader, every high achiever, and every person called to impact understands that boundaries are not walls. They are shields. They are not rejection, they are redirection. The hook here is simple but profound. Your growth is too valuable to hand over to critics, cynics, or those who don't share your vision. Access control is more than just physical, it is mental and spiritual. The people you allow into your inner world influence your mindset, your confidence, and your direction. If you let everyone in, you risk leaking your energy into opinions that don't serve your purpose. If you let everyone in, you risk allowing doubt, fear, and distraction to dictate your decisions. If you let everyone in, you risk slowing down the very momentum that God is trying to build in your life. But when you are intentional about who gets access, you create a sacred space for growth, clarity, and alignment. That sacred space is where God can operate freely, where your focus can thrive, and where your potential can be activated without interference. Let me drop another hook here. Some people are not meant to walk your path. They are only meant to admire your destination. Learning this distinction is key. People will try to convince you to share your struggles, your plans, and your strategy before the timing is right. They will offer help that is really distraction. They will critique, complain, and even manipulate in ways that can slow your progress. The problem is that many people lack the discernment to see who belongs and who doesn't, who is helping and who is hindering. God teaches discernment through silence and focus, because the quieter you become, the clearer you can see intentions. The less you explain, the more you observe. The less you overshare, the more protected your progress becomes. Another hook: protecting your process is protecting your destiny. There is power in invisibility, in mystery, and in strategic privacy. When others cannot fully see your moves, they cannot steal your momentum. When others cannot predict your next step, they cannot sabotage your progress. When others cannot measure your potential, they cannot limit your possibilities. God uses separation to train you to trust Him over people, to rely on preparation over permission, and to recognize that timing is more important than approval. Those who are meant to be in your life will still be there when the time is right, and those who are not will fade without conflict. The next hook your piece is a non-negotiable currency for your purpose. Every distraction, negative comment, or unsolicited opinion is a withdrawal from that currency. If you spend your mental, emotional, and spiritual energy on everyone who wants access, you are bankrupting your own potential. Instead, invest your energy where it multiplies, on your vision, your discipline, your growth, and the people who genuinely add value to your journey. Boundaries are not selfish, they are strategic. Boundaries create space for focus, resilience, and alignment. Boundaries allow God to move without interference and allow you to rise without being weighed down by unnecessary noise. Here's another hook. Every person you allow in shapes the version of you that emerges. Surround yourself with doubt, and your confidence erodes. Surround yourself with distraction, and your momentum slows. Surround yourself with people who elevate, and your potential expands. Learning who deserves access and who does not is not about being mean or unkind. It is about being intentional, wise, and obedient to your calling. God doesn't just want you to move forward. He wants you to move forward with clarity, strength, and purpose. Access control is the discipline that ensures your next level is achieved with precision, and it separates those who are ready to support your vision from those who are only ready to complicate it. Another hook, less access, more alignment. When you stop trying to please everyone, when you stop trying to explain every detail, when you stop giving everyone a seat at your table, you finally have room to focus on the people, opportunities, and strategies that actually move your life forward. Protecting your inner circle is protecting your breakthrough. And God always rewards those who guard their peace while they pursue their purpose. Silence is one of the most misunderstood tools of growth, but it is also one of the most powerful. Many people think that speaking, explaining, or defending themselves will advance their position, but God often uses silence as a divine strategy to position you for success. Staying silent is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is not hesitation, it is preparation. It is not absence, it is alignment. Silence allows you to observe without distraction, reflect without distortion, and strategize without interference. The hook here is this: your silence is louder than your words when it is filled with purpose. The world may see quietness as passivity, but those who understand the laws of spiritual growth know that the most powerful moves are often made in silence. When you stay silent, you remove the power that others have over your emotions. Criticism, gossip, and judgment lose their grip when you refuse to respond impulsively. Silence becomes a shield against manipulation and a sword for your focus. It creates space for clarity and discernment, so you can identify what is actually worth your attention and what is just noise. Most people allow external voices to dictate their internal state, but those who master the art of strategic silence maintain their peace while the world tries to pull them into chaos. Here's a hook for you: silence is not absence of action, it is the presence of strategy. Silence also allows for the cultivation of patience. Impatience leads to mistakes, frustration, and premature exposure, while patience ensures that your timing aligns with God's timing. When you speak too soon or reveal too much, you risk undermining the very destiny God is preparing for you. Silence teaches restraint, self-control, and trust in divine orchestration. It forces you to wait, reflect, and act only when the conditions are right. People who do not understand the value of silence often act out of fear or insecurity, revealing their process before it is fully formed. But those who embrace silence understand that timing is just as critical as talent. Another hook to grab: what God is building in you cannot be rushed, and what the enemy cannot steal will not be exposed. Silence protects your promise. It guards your progress. It preserves the integrity of your journey. Many times, breakthroughs are delayed not because of lack of effort, but because people reveal their plans before they are perfected. Strategic silence ensures that when the moment comes, your results speak for themselves and your achievements cannot be diminished by doubt, criticism, or opposition. Silence is not inactivity, it is incubation. It is the period where ideas mature, skills sharpen, and faith solidifies. Silence also amplifies your influence. People are drawn to those who speak with authority because authority often comes from action and preparation rather than endless commentary. When you have invested in yourself quietly, when you have labored unseen, the moment you act carries power, credibility, and impact. People will pay attention because they witness results, not excuses. The hook here is results scream louder than explanations. Your words will be remembered less than the evidence of your silent preparation. When you move with precision, when you act with confidence, and when you produce outcomes, your silence turns into influence. Finally, silence deepens your relationship with God. It is in quietness that you hear his voice most clearly, that you receive his wisdom, and that you discern his direction. When the world is loud and demanding, silence creates the sacred space where God can operate freely in your life. It builds spiritual resilience, strengthens character, and aligns your purpose with his plan. Silence teaches you to trust, to obey, and to believe in what is unseen. Another hook: the quieter you become, the louder God's plan speaks through your life. When you master silence, you master yourself, your environment, and your destiny, creating a foundation that is unshakable and unstoppable. So if you're in a quiet season right now, don't panic, praise. If God has you focused on yourself, don't resist, receive it. If he's telling you to stay silent, don't question, trust him. Because the version of you that's being shaped in silence is the version that's going to change everything. This is not the season for noise. This is the season for elevation. This is not the season for talking. This is the season for transforming. And when God finally says, step forward, the world will look at you and say, where did this version of you come from? And you'll respond not with words, but with the undeniable evidence of what God built in you when you were silent.